Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fridays at 5. I'm Karen Taylor. We are thrilled today to be here on the topic of tips for teachers who work with Brazilian learners of English. Now, you might think, well, the other sessions were named, working with Spanish-speaking learners or working with Japanese learners, which is a little bit more like Brazil. Meaning we're not just talking about Portuguese in general today, we're talking about working with learners who specifically speak Brazilian Portuguese. So to get into that and to know why it is we're so specific, we have Dr. Robin Barr starting us off shortly, and she's going to give us a little introduction to the distinctions between European Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese in particular. And there are more Portugueses out there, just as there are many Englishes, but we'll focus on those two. We then have our next panelist will be Gilson Hosana. Hi, Gilson. Welcome again. Glad to have you. And Gilson will be sharing a bit of his journey and how he's using color vowel images to teach the pronunciation of English with his learners in Brazil. Okay. And then we have Dorly Piske. Hi, Dorly. Good to see you. Yeah, little wave so people can see you there in the room. Great. And Dorly is going to be sharing what she does specifically with vowels that precede some of the nasal consonants that we have in Brazilian Portuguese, but maybe some other tips that also come to mind. Our panelists are going to are welcome, and I encourage you to feed off of each other. Dr. Barr is going to follow with a little synopsis at the end, put a bow on all of these things, the various ideas that we hear. And you, dear listener, are welcome to write comments and questions in the chat. Okay. We'll also have a Q&A right there toward the end after the 5-minute synopsis that Dr. Barr will give. I know, it's horrifying. 5 minutes only. This is a 1-hour session, so I'm going to be always the timekeeper. You might see me holding up my secret cards, like just so you know what it means.
Olive sock, stop.
White tie is 5 minutes. That means 5 minutes remaining for you. Guess what green tea is? 3 minutes remaining. I like the odd numbers because I'm odd. How about this one? This is a cup of mustard. It's not mac and cheese, okay? This is a cup of mustard, which goes with 1 minute left. And then we've got olive sock, stop in the name of love. Okay, so that's how this is going to work out. If I cannot get your attention, I will be driven to say something, but I'm hoping not to. We're going to use our visual cues. All right, we're so excited. Thank you, everybody, for your comments over in the chat. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Barr for our education about the differences among these Portuguese variations. Hello.
Well, hello, everyone. I didn't know I was going to be doing this, but I can.
You did know.
Well, I didn't know I was going to do that particular thing, but that's fine. I want to give a shout out to Kelly Mendonça. I see you were also a Brazilian Portuguese speaker. Is that correct? Yes. So we have some.
Yeah, that's right.
We have some speakers here who can correct me if I make a mistake. What I'd like to do first is talk about the main difference between European Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese, which is the timing. So I know as color vowelists, you've always been aware of the timing of English and which syllables are long, which syllables are short, which syllables are reduced, and so on. European Portuguese is very much like that. European Portuguese is stress timed like English is, and a lot of the vowel sounds are reduced. Brazilian Portuguese is not like that as much. There is some unevenness and difference in vowel length, but there is less reduction of the vowels, and there is more evenness in the syllables, which is one of the things that'll create a difference for your students in trying to adapt to English pronunciation. Right. The next differences I want to talk about, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So what I want to talk about now is the unconscious parts of Brazilian Portuguese, the rules that might cause interference with English that the speakers of Brazilian Portuguese are not aware of. This is in addition to or on top of any differences in spelling and pronunciation of letters and so on, which would also cause problems. So I'm going to talk about three main things, and there's other issues as well. But the three main issues are, number one, palatalization of dental stops. That is turning a t and a d to a ch and a j anytime they come before an e sound. So city would become sichi, for example, or ready would become reggie. And this is directly related to a difference in Brazilian Portuguese, which you can hear in this audio, I hope. Let's see if I can do that. Okay. Sorry. Yes, here it is. Okay, so here's an example of Portuguese phonology. I'm trying to share the sound here. Listen to first the European Portuguese and then Brazilian Portuguese pronunciation of the D sound in this sentence.
Pode mudar de atitude. Pode mudar de atitude.
Can you all hear that okay? Okay, so the second one you heard pode mudar de atitude. So the j sound that didn't exist in European Portuguese. I'll play it again.
Pode mudar de atitude. Pode mudar de atitude.
Okay.
Pode mudar de atitude. Pode mudar de atitude.
Okay. Now I'm going to play the same thing, but with T instead of D.
Tiago tinha bebido aguardente. O Tiago tinha bebido aguardente.
Okay, so the second one is the Brazilian Portuguese.
Tiago tinha bebido aguardente. O Tiago tinha bebido aguardente.
You may also be able to hear in the European Portuguese the vowel elision. So a lot of vowels are dropped because of the vowel reduction in European Portuguese. Second thing I wanted to talk about is the raising of the final e and o sounds to e and u. So if I show you the find at the ends of words the mid vowels like o, rose boat, will become u, blue moon, and likewise a, gray day, will become e, green tea at the end of a word. So tomato might become tomato, where Saturday might become Saturday. And notice that this new vowel e also makes the palatalization happen. So Saturday would become Saturday, and therefore by rule 1, Saturday. Okay. I don't have any direct examples of those, but another thing to notice is the third unconscious process is a very general process. It's a conspiracy to create open syllables in Brazilian Portuguese. So European Portuguese doesn't have that many syllables that end with consonants or consonant clusters, but it has more than Brazilian Portuguese does, and that's for several reasons. Sometimes the speaker might insert an extra vowel, so night might become nighty, and then nighty by rule 1. Okay, so an extra vowel after a consonant if there's no other vowel in that syllable. And another thing that might happen is some syllable final consonants are going to disappear. So nasalization is a big one, and I think was it Dorly was going to talk about nasalization, or Gilson, I don't remember. But when you talk about nasalization, what this means is that the preceding vowel gets nasalized, and then you drop the nasal consonant, Then you have to worry about a consonant at the end of the syllable because you don't have one anymore. So if you have the word men, you will turn it into men. And then if you want to say, oh gosh, I'm supposed to say a final consonant here, you don't remember which one it should be. Is it an N or is it an eng or is it an M? So you might, instead of saying men, you might say meng or mem, right? Because meh is sort of ambiguous between all three of those. So you get a different kind of nasalization. And you might be tempted to talk about other kinds of processes that open syllables. So for example, things that happen to R. So R may drop at the ends of syllables, or it may turn into a vowel. L at the end of a syllable turns into a W or an O, right? Kelly is nodding, so I think I might be right. So there are things that the Brazilian Portuguese speaker is doing that are going to create a conflict with the kind of sounds that they're intended to be able to say in English. So if you want to say a word in English that has a consonant followed by another consonant, or even two words, one ends in a consonant and one begins with a consonant, like night train, it's going to turn into nighty trainy or nighty train or something like that. The other thing I want to talk about that I think we'll be seeing more of is just the difference in vowel space. This is not specific to Portuguese or European or Brazilian Portuguese. This is more an issue with any language that has fewer vowels than English does. So I think now you were just talking about how interested you are in strategies for working with languages that have fewer vowels, like Japanese does. So there's not a difference between green tea and silver pin. Instead, it's something in between, just like Spanish. Right? There's a gray day versus a red pepper, but the red pepper is closer to black cat, so it's like red pepper, right? And there isn't a distinction between red pepper and black cat. Then there's olive sock. The olive is sort of somewhere close to black cat. And then Auburn dog is the aw sound. It's a version of O. And then there's also the rose boat, the diphthong. So it's not rose boat, but it's just rose boat. I can't quite do it, but it would be O. And then blue moon. So there is no wooden hook. There is no cup of mustard, right? There's plenty of diphthongs, however, ow, and nasal versions, ow, and I, and I. And some of those are actually, they used to be consonants. So that's one of the things that is surprising and also difficult about the spelling to sound relationship of Portuguese. But the difference is that if you're trying to speak English, then you're really stuck using the rules of Portuguese until you understand, until you become more conscious of what's going on. I have to say, Karen, I could not see anything you were holding up.
I'm just holding up this one for wow. Because the wow is, wait a minute, you just told me that I and ow could be a consonant, and I'm just a little mind blown. So
with the nasalization, yeah, those used to be,
exactly.
yeah. So Karen, I need to tell you that any cards you were holding up were not visible to me.
I actually didn't hold any cards because I was agog. I was so busy listening. Plus, our time is doing really well. So wonderful. Well, this is a great place to start, right? I think we're all super activated, and that's fascinating to just think about the categories and the assimilations that we've been hearing about. I can't imagine that that everyone's just ready to move on. Are there a couple of comments that you want to make? Just
I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I don't know Portuguese, so who knows if I'm right.
Yeah, well, let's say I'd like to have comments just about like, that's my experience or something like that. Just a couple. Anybody have a burning comment to make? Because I saw a couple of faces in there sort of nodding.
Oh, could the Portuguese speakers please tell me how close I
Yeah,
came?
can we hear from you? Let's see, Tamyres, any comments? And then
Oh,
Kelly?
Dorly thinks I'm right. Okay, thank you,
Yeah,
Dorly.
no, I agree with everything you said. I know that it's a difficulty because we have the CV, like the consonant vowel. So when we have the words ending the E, in English, we have a lot of silent E. And in Portuguese, we want that vowel there. So I hear a lot of students saying cake, and they won't say cakey. They put the
Yeah.
E in the end. But I do have a question about the green tea and the silver pen. There is like the Northeast Brazilians, the alphabet, we say A, B, C, D, E, like red pepper. But the Brazilians from the South, the Southeast Brazilians, they say A, B, C, D, E. I wonder if that E would be the silver, and the red pepper with the E for the Northeast.
Oh, that's interesting because at least the sources I looked at said that there was both an A and an E. One was higher than the A is higher than the E, but it's not as high as the I of the silver pin I. So there was a red dress sort of and a gray day, but not
Exactly.
but not a silver pin. However, I need to tell you this. There is a silver pin and a wooden hook phonetically as unstressed vowels. So if the E is unstressed, it may come out as I, but it's not a difference in phoneme. So you can't produce it when you want to. It just, that's the version that you would say in an unstressed syllable. So, but I've also heard that there are many differences between Northeast and Southern Portuguese in Brazil. So your dialect may differ. Oh, there was an interesting question in the chat. Is the R to H particular to Brazilian Portuguese? Yes, in fact, the dropping the R altogether or changing it to a voiceless velar fricative like H or uvular fricative H is more like Brazilian Portuguese. The European Portuguese still has more of a tongue tap R sound and or possibly in some cases a stronger double trilled R like the Spanish double R, but the Brazilian Portuguese doesn't have that and can even make it a voiceless sound like the H sound that somebody's mentioning here. So not just an H sound, but
Yeah,
more
that can
like
also depend
the Scottish H, a fricative.
on where in Brazil you're talking about. Because of course, if you're down here in the Rio Grande do Sul, you could be talking about picking up the Spanish accent,
That's true.
even as
That's
far
true.
as trilling. Whereas in Rio de Janeiro, you know, this kind of almost guttural, Northeast a little bit different as well.
Yeah, so there are a lot of I don't know if I'd call them substratum influences or bilingual influences between this Latin American Spanish and Latin American Portuguese. Some people think that the syllable time nature of Brazilian Portuguese has oozed over from the syllable time Spanish in South America. I don't know if that's true or not because I don't know which came first. I don't know if the European Portuguese stress timing is the original or if the syllable timing of the Brazilian Portuguese came first.
I think we received from them. We received Portuguese from Portugal, and then we had our language. Yes. So Portuguese from Portugal first, I think we received from them.
Right, but then did they change to stress timed, or did did Brazilian Portuguese change to syllable timed, or a mixture of the two, or which way did it cut? So that's the question.
It's almost kind of analogous to the Englishes we hear in the Appalachians, where there are some forms and accents of English in those regions of the United States that are actually older than some of the British accents you hear. So even though you have this impression that the British are first and the Americans are second, there's some change going on the other side that can actually be third, right?
Right.
So that's the phenomenon I think you're describing, Dr. Barr. Wonderful.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is fascinating. I think, so this is a really unique session, I think, in some ways, because our next speaker that I'm going to be introducing, Gilson Hosana, is a Brazilian teacher of English in Brazil. And that I think is different. In that sense, I would say a little bit like our Japanese session now is a Japanese teacher of English in Japan. So there you guys have, you two have that connection, right? Being a local teacher of the language in your setting. But Gilson's story is a fascinating and an important one. And I wanted to bring that story sort of as a centerpiece to have you all, know more about what it is to be a teacher of English in Brazil. And so Gilson will be introducing himself, of course, but I'll start with this preface that I met Gilson in 2019 when he joined, one evening, he joined a webinar, an introductory webinar in Color Vowel. And almost instantly, he was there talking and trying out Color Vowel in real time in the spirit of a learner. And I just ran with it. With the two of us were right there together, and nice big room of people. And it's possible that some of you were there. And if you were, I'd want to know, because I really remember this evening. And here I thought, here's a teacher who's also just passionately a learner as well. And as it turns out, I was more right than I realized. Gilson and I stayed in touch. He said, I want to learn in this way. I'm teaching English, but I don't speak it very well. And this is a way forward for me. And so to keep it short, what happened is I put him together with one of our interns who was trained in Color Vowel, who was also at university studying linguistics. That's Vivian, who's going to watch this recorded session. So we'll say hi to Vivian. Vivian Bauer worked with him as a tutor weekly, and maybe more than weekly, right? And now they're fast friends, actually. And so we're all connected in this way, where Vivian and Gilson work together in Portuguese and in English for her to expand her Portuguese and vice versa. And then Gilson started taking our courses and became a Color Vowel trained teacher. And so he's going to maintain, and I still have to ask him every single time and verify, he insists that he really didn't speak English until 2019. Despite the fact that he actually went to college and studied to be a teacher of English back in the day. So his story starts many years earlier when he finished teachers college. He actually left that field and became a teacher of capoeira. If you know Brazil at all, you know what capoeira is. It's a martial arts, music influenced dance and movement form that I'll kind of leave it at that. Fascinating activity. And he was a teacher of capoeira for many years, until an injury forced him to make some other plans. And so he went back to his roots as a teacher in the training that he received. And he now teaches at a local middle school. He teaches, now get this, he teaches 12 different classes a week, courses, groups. He teaches them twice a week. And there are 40 students in each of those classrooms. So he teaches approximately 480 some learners, maybe my math is off, 400 something learners a week, right, Gilson? Everybody can just kind of do this a little bit, give him some praise there. 400 something students a week that he sees twice a week. And he's, teaching them English. And then if that wasn't enough, he turns around and he volunteers with a group online of rural Brazilians who don't have access to classrooms to improve their English. And they're both children and adults. And so he's getting a great deal of teaching experience in a short time. I'm going to turn this to Gilson. He's going to tell us a bit of his story and how Color Vowel images in particular have been a way for him to drive his own learning and to turn around and help other students. So welcome, Gilson.
Wow, it's a pleasure to be here with you all. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Color Vowel team. My name is Hosana. I've been an English teacher since 2018. Before that, I was a capoeira teacher, as Karen said before. It had been the main job until that point, but I had an accident and I hurt my right foot. Then I had to find a new career. So I decided to become an English teacher, but I still didn't know how to speak English aloud. Then I started looking for a way to improve or to learn English pronunciation. In 2019, I found I was in a workshop at university in Diamantina City, a little city here in the countryside of Minas Gerais state. And I found a site, US Department of State. Through the website, I found the Color Vowel approach. After that, I participated in a free class session from Color Vowel, from Color Vowel and Blue Canoe. Now I'm a level 1 trained, and I decided to use Color Vowel to improve my own English speaking. This is the main way that I use Color Vowel, but I share it with my students too. Just a minute, I will share a screen with you all, okay? I'm a very visual learner. Yeah, here. Could you all see it? Yeah, okay. I'm a very visual learner, and these images were very powerful for me. I taught myself, and now I use the same strategies and share it with my own students. And here are a few examples of how I use the images. And I make picture dictionary pages like this, or like this one here. This is one way that I use these images, and I inform the learners on my graphic how these words sound, and so they can make sentence like this. Oh, maybe we can do it together, okay? And I will look for a volunteer. Maybe Tamyres, could you be? Yeah, please.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Your
okay. Now I'm your English teacher, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, do what I do and say what I say.
Okay.
Yeah, please pay close attention here. Look at the here underlined below the vowels, okay? We have the color vowel icon here too. And we have some images here, that's okay. Pay close attention. This means blue moon you. Can you do it with me? Use your hand, please.
Blue moon you.
Yeah, the main stress is in you. That's okay. You. Blue moon you.
Blue moon you.
Yeah, and after it, I teach my students a verb like this: green tea, eat.
Green tea, eat.
Yeah, we have many ways to use this slide here, but I can connect some words like this. For example, blue, green, green. You eat pizza.
Okay, so you eat pizza.
Oh, that's okay. You eat pizza. Color Vowel teach us that spelling isn't pronunciation. Then pay attention here. Bread, we have the icon red pepper, please.
Red pepper, eh.
Yeah, now we have the word red pepper, bread.
Red pepper, bread.
Oh, that's okay. I eat bread.
I eat bread.
Oh, yeah, we have some verbs that happen only inside our mind, like think, need, want, okay, and other verbs, but let's take the verb want. Want. I use a cup of mustard to want. That's okay, Karen. Yeah. Yeah, a cup of mustard want. Please do it with me.
A cup of mustard want.
Yeah, you want to eat bread. You want to eat bread. Come on.
You want to eat bread.
Yeah, that's okay. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the way that I teach my students, but we can do something like explore some words like silver pen words and silver pen, fish and chicken. Yeah.
Like a little bit of flooding.
Yeah, like a little bit. Yeah, okay.
The flooding,
Like
I'm sorry, just in case it's not known, flooding is when we pick words of all the same color and just listen to all of those and say all of those. So
yeah, but you are right, because in the next slide you will see something like it. That's okay, Karen. Yeah. Here we have the word grade A word 2, grade A words. Grade A tomatoes. Can you do it? Let me find a new volunteer. Maybe Anna Lee. Okay.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you repeat it for me? Grade A tomatoes.
Grade A tomatoes.
Yeah, pay close attention here that we have the picture dictionary. This is how we can think in English. We don't need make a translation to know that this means tomato. I need only to think tomatoes is it? Okay. Well, this is, let's go ahead. I will share another screen that we can see some words, some important words here. Here we have a lot of grade A words. We can use this slide. We have many ways to use this slide. For example, come with me one more time, Anna, please. Yeah. So let's pronounce these words with A sound here. For example, grade A nation location. Come on.
Grade A nation location.
Yeah. Now nation, location, education, relation.
Nation, location, education, relation.
Oh, okay. Now, what about these words here? Can you read it for me without the color vowel icon? Can you read it for me, please?
Yes, it is but and countries.
Yeah.
Yes, I think this is one word a lot of students make mistakes. Brazilian students usually say culture or culture for that, right?
Yeah.
And then it is a great way to teach them with this, and then it's impossible to get confused say like culture, culture. So,
Yeah, that's okay. And here we have a cup of mustard. Ah, can you do it?
a cup of mustard.
Yeah, a cup of mustard. Culture, countries, but from. One more.
Yeah, a cup of mustard. Culture, but countries.
Yeah, culture,
Nice.
countries, but from.
Now, Gilson, I'm just going to mention for the sake of time, you have video, don't you? Showing some of your students doing this.
Oh, I have a video with my students using it.
I just want to be
I-
sure we get to see some of that because it's lovely footage. My
Oh,
question
that's
for
okay.
Gilson was, while he's getting that video ready, was does using this kind of what we call a scaffold, does it cross over, does it transfer into students' speech when they don't have that markup? That's, I think, on everybody's mind, right? Does it help? And we may not get to hear all the video, but it's pretty phenomenal what I got to hear when students were speaking spontaneously. So Gilson, you want to share some of that with us?
Yeah, do you want to see? I have a video with the students using the color vowel icons, and after that, I can show another or without for my scaffold.
Yeah, let's go ahead and try to do both briefly.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll share another screen here.
The same the nation is a location where people live and share the same culture named country. Pode ler para mim, Leonardo? Pode usar a mão, ok?
The nation is a location where people live and share the same culture, named country.
Isso, named.
Named.
Isso, ao invés de name, de named.
Named.
Isso, usa sua mão agora, por favor. Named. Isso, ok.
Okay, I share another one, Leonardo.
That's a nice correction there, the way he was able to practice a few times, right?
Yeah.
And do we think that that was more of the spelling that influenced him to do that, or was that also a phonological rule, Dr. Barr?
Both.
Okay, thank
You
you.
notice that some of it came out as name-a-g. So the E was added because the D was final, but named was the named, the extra syllable was partly from the spelling, but notice that MD is also a consonant cluster. So that would be hard anyway.
Complicated. Great. So then Gilson, this is the spontaneous, this is your student talking to us, right?
Oh, that's okay. Can you all see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Hello, my name is Leonardo. I live in the countryside. I study English with Gilson for 2 months. I've never had a way to study English so amazing. I love Color Vowel and this technique very helpful. Thank you, Gilson and the Color Vowel team. Bye-bye.
Aw, he warms my heart. Bravo.
I thought the rhythm was particularly good. Did you work with him on the rhythm, like with rubber bands or with
The hand.
the uneven stress timing?
Gilson, that's a question for you. Did you teach rhythm, or do you think they soaked it up from you?
No, sometimes I teach rhythm, I focus on pronounce, but sometimes I teach rhythm because I learned about rhythm in, for example, when we have some sections from Color Vowel, I use some techniques that come from English pure practice, something like it. That's okay, and I use everything I see in Color Vowel.
Wonderful. Gilson,
yeah.
as any final comments that you want to make, you have about 2 minutes to wrap up.
Wow, okay. There is an important, because I have this image, I got these images that I use in my slides because I participated in a Color Vowel section, and the Color Vowel level 1, is it okay? Color Vowel level 1, and I got these icons to use in my slides. This is an important thing to say here. And there is one thing more. I think I couldn't learn English without Color Vowel because this, as I said before, I'm a very visual learner, and these images were very powerful for me. Okay, Karen. I want to say something too about Vivian Bauer that helped me a lot. Okay, and 2 years before now, Karen introduced me to Vivian, and she knows Color Vowel and studied with me week by week. Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Color Vowel team. Thank you all. That's okay.
Thank you so much, Gilson, everybody. Thank you. If we can give a nice round of applause there. We just so appreciate hearing your perspective on what's been helpful to you and then seeing how you make it helpful to your learners and us getting to hear how it's helpful. It's amazing. So thank you so much. Our third panelist today, our third presenter is Dorly Piske. Dorly, I'm going to have you introduce yourself and tell us what you are about to tell us about, which is, it has to do with vowels and nasal influence, right? So if you could tell us a little bit about, I know you're up in Wyoming.
Yes.
And you're working at the community college there, but you have a long teaching history. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, just very briefly. I have lived in Wyoming for nearly 4 decades. Half of that period was in science. Then after raising family, I changed into languages. I have taught Spanish and also developed a Portuguese course. And now I have a helper in the background. Oh my gosh. This is, no, this is not good. This is awful. I need to open the door to let the puppy out.
Okay, I'll tap dance while she does that, because we know the animals get jealous the moment we start talking.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my husband is hospitalized. That's why I have to take care of him. Anyway, let me not get too elongated on this. So yes, I taught at the community college level at the University of Wyoming. And lately, I'm working independently as a coach. And so I'm reaching out to international professionals who live in the United States or North America in general, who are of different origins, but mostly Portuguese and Spanish speakers who need to brush up their language skills to get ahead in their careers. And so recently I've been working with 2 Brazilians who live in Canada. And the examples of what I'm talking about will be mostly coming from them, although it's very general for Portuguese speakers. So let me go ahead and share the screen. I think I'm here. Yes. Okay. Now, Dr. Barr, thank you so much for the great introduction. I'm not a phonology student, especially not of Portuguese phonology. So just to get started, we talked about this nasalization. This is a picture I took just recently when I was in Brazil over the spring break. That was a sign of a little joint at a beach. And I said, oh my gosh, this is super cute. An English speaker would not have any idea why they were so cute with their sign to say hamburger.
Right, for us, it looks like hot burger.
I know, of course, they played with it too, but how does a Brazilian speaker say hamburger? Burger, And so this H, the A was the tilde is the in spelling. And the H, yeah, hamburger, and the H is silent. But anyway, this is a good opening to this and everything. When there's an M or an N, we want to nasalize everything. We bring that into English and we need to knock it out, right? If we want them to sound more English. So then when you look at the Portuguese spelling of nasals, yes, we have the beautiful teal, this like lung, mine, mong, poing, wonderful. It could be spelled with an M or an M usually at the end of the word, and it sounds exactly like sing, song, ting, sing, yeah? Or, yeah, other words that end with M. We can have an N. It doesn't matter where it's located. It could be in the middle of the word or at the end of the word, like pinguim. That's what we do. It's nasal. Ning, 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 ning. And também is another example. Now, when we have another, looking at another example, if we have, for example, the vowel A, it's A. And thanks to Gabriela Tinoco, I did not realize that the A in Portuguese or Spanish is actually a little higher than the English one. And she had the idea of this invisible string. Pull your tongue down to make your A in English, right? So anyway, we have the pure A, caco, capa, gato, etc. But then here we have campo, canga, canto, cama, canha, cano. We bring that into English. So then the word também, which means also, it occurred to me one day when talking to my students, when they're doing all this nasalization of English words, and I said, hey, why don't we, and these were words that had come from their recordings or conversation where the sounds were off, were too nasal for English, where the N or the M are not articulated, being in the middle of the word or being at the end of a word. Then I said, hey, if we do a little reverse engineering, you all have heard a gringo speaking Portuguese, and a gringo means an American, who has a heavy accent trying to speak Portuguese, right? Like they are trying to speak English. How does an English speaker who still has a heavy accent say that word? They would say também, também. I said, okay, that doesn't sound very Portuguese. If you pay attention to how this individual says that word, reverse engineer that, that means if they say tam, that means you need to articulate every M at either in the middle of the word or at the end of the word. So think of this também as an anchor, basically, to articulate, to close your lips. And let's get rid of the that you have on those nasal sounds. So for example, what would some of these words sound like? Financial. My husband is not the best example here. Situation. Common. Company. 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 Column. French. Convince, etc. You get the idea. Yeah. Interview. And this was, for example, I cannot even do it. Annually. Like the word in Portuguese is ano, so you go annually. And that will be very hard to understand. If they're really trying to say annually, an English speaker would have a hard time. Some of the other words, they're still comprehensible, right? But some would get a little distorted. So that's one of the battles, so to speak, that to articulate the final N, like in common, articulated, different, attention, which is not the right? The NG like that. So that takes a lot of practice and just raising the awareness and learning to articulate and how to produce those sounds. And that means lots of repetition so that when you need that word in your natural speech, that it comes automatically. But as you see here, there are so many words in English that have those sounds, or the N or the M, that need to be articulated. And it takes a lot of practice in raising awareness how these need to be pronounced differently, to take the nasal sounds out because they're not nasal in English. And then what Dr. Barr had said about the adding vowels. So there's, what's the English word being spelled here in Portuguese?
It's a kiosk.
Yeah.
Kiosk-i.
Kiosk-i. right? And this is an official word in Portuguese in the dictionaries already. So the borrowing has been going on for a long time, and it has intensified in the recent years, mostly in technology. So this word here, as Dr. Barr was saying, the TI becomes chikichi.
Chikichi, I love it. That's wonderful.
When I arrived at the parking space at an airport, you get to the gate and they said, retire seu chikichi, remove your ticket. I said, okay, I know what you're saying, but an English speaker would not know that chikichi means a ticket. Or here, backgroundy. So there are two things. One is those final stops are so hard to produce. Takes a lot of training for a Portuguese speaker to not to add a vowel. And then also comes the compound words where the stress tends to be more towards the end of the words, which is typical in the Portuguese language. So background becomes background. High school, Walmart, and that goes on, right? We go to Walmart to shop. So that's about the nasalization, and so how frequent that is and how much work there's Brazilian Portuguese speakers have to actually do this articulation. Spanish speakers the same way to be able to articulate that. Now, then we come, talking about vowels. I never studied Portuguese phonology as such with the intent of teaching it at this level. But what we know for sure, we have the typical 5 letters as in Spanish, I, E, O, U. And as this one colleague said, I, E, O, U. I'm from the other area in the South, I would say A, E, O, U. But both E and O can be closed or open. Ovo, ovus, yeah, closed and open. And in any one of them can be nasal, either nasal because they have a tilde marked, depending on how the word is written, or because of the M or the N, the location in the word. And the next thing is Portuguese language loves vowels, loves vowels. You were just saying, Karen, you were saying the word capoeira.
Yeah, in my way.
Your way. There are 3 vowels. This is very challenging for an English speaker. I'm sorry. That was not the thing that I needed. Capoeira, oeira. That's even harder than the long vowels in English, right? Oeira. So very common to have triphthongs, or even we can have a whole word where there's one consonant. That's the name of a state. Piauí. Piauí. Hey, it's fun. Or Araguaia. Guaia. Why not? Just to illustrate that lots of vowels in the Portuguese language. And then if you get into English and I need some extra vowels, please, because it will help me pronounce. There's one thing that I am not aware of in English, that sometimes a vowel can be a syllable in Portuguese, if it's a stressed one. Here you see 3 letters together, but they are part of a syllable, whereas in this case, saúde, which in Spanish is salud, the L fell sideways, and then the U, which is stressed, ends up becoming a separate syllable. We talk about Portuguese and not about how we practice with them. Now, so talking with the students, what I've done with them is their spreadsheet of issues to work on. The R is an issue, the T, like they would say, I need to give this to you, 1, 2, I have 2 brothers, right? So that's one thing to work on, that the T very often is ch, and then the aspiration of p to k. So that's why I said that reverse engineering também would be helpful, because they say ta and not ta, right? So that they get these aspirations. The TH, one of them had learned that, okay, I know it's so hard to make the TH, the silent one and the voiced one. I was told that I can just replace it by a T. I said, yes, in most cases, except in some situations, you will not sound, it will be a little funny if you just use it through T. He was very shocked. And that really motivated him into, oh my gosh, I really need to practice my TH sounds to avoid these problems, or the 3 in the tree, for example. And what's also common is the SP, like saying is specific, is special. And then the list of the nasals is huge. And we just had a few sessions. And then the CH and on and on and on. And then the final ED. Let's move on to where it matters with color vowel. So what we did then is I introduced the color vowel chart. We practiced the, I had them basically say those anchor phrases over and over and over at home. We went over this and I said, you spend the whole week just saying green, T, E, silver, pen, A, have that in your head. And then from those words that we had on that list, I said, okay, I ended up recording them, send the recording, reading those words to them so that they had the pronunciation. And I said, can you try on your own, classify those words, so to speak? Can you hear the stressed syllable? And can you hear what sound that is? Is it a green tea? Is it a blue moon? What is it? Well, without guidance, without working more on that together, that first attempt was quite failed. So when this individual took those words that he heard,
Oh, I see.
put them in the chart, when I looked at it, then I created a video and I gave him a feedback video and explaining what it was. And I said, listen, when you read this here, green TE, you have 3 email, situation, discussed, useful. Those don't belong there. Or the wooden hook. Look what this individual had put there, specific, specialized, improve, attention.
Wow.
It had not clicked.
Right.
So that was important, of course, but it was an interesting attempt that it needs actually a lot of guidance. So of course we went through that. This is not the final copy now, but then we went over it together again for them to hear it again and again. And so then now they would have a list to do.
Dorly, I just have to say how much I love what we're seeing and hearing here. You know, it's not just making a list that's correct from the start because you told them. You're getting to see a window on how they perceive it, which is the first step for awareness.
Exactly. And so, but it was okay to start that way.
That's right.
It's not the most effective way, and it's not also saying ones telling you it's a green tea word. Doesn't make any sense as such. They need to feel it, see it, and where the sound is produced and all of that. But as far as challenges, the silver pen is a huge challenge to distinguish the green tea with the silver pen. We already knew that. The cup of mustard was huge. We spent a lot of time with this one individual for her to say the words contribute, company, company. She couldn't believe it. And the word brother and mother, she said, how is that possible? I said, well, you look at the letter O, it doesn't make sense for you to say right? Or the olive.
So wait, one question that maybe others have too. So the blue, once again, is that you have, go down.
The blue is what they had correct.
Exactly.
And what was in black was the ones that they had misplaced.
Okay.
And then we went back and together we said the words and, went over the color wall chart again and to help them then put them all in the right place.
I think we all just walked away with a really wonderful, powerful tip that right, Aviva, I see you nodding. I mean, I just hadn't thought of this, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
My day is made.
And this word in red here was just a word that was added later. There's no reason for red other than these were a few new words. For example, the word month. It's so hard for this person to say month because it's an O.
Right. The spelling interference, right?
Spelling interference is huge. And so the same with the olive. The spelling interference is huge. Also a difficulty of actually hearing cat. She was talking about, we live in Canada. We live in Canada. And I said, okay, let's say it in English. Canada. Where do you think it belongs? In which box? Canada, Canada, Canada. She said, I don't know. She could not immediately say black cat.
A
But
question,
that takes a
Dorly.
lot of practice. Yes.
Yeah, a
That-
question just from the chat is, are these words that they arose in the lesson that you were teaching?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
right?
yes. This was not a list that I created. These are words that they use that arose in their lessons and things that they were recording. They were reporting about their work or different things. This was just me taking notes as they were speaking of words that I had mispronounced that needed polishing.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Dorly, any final comments as we wrap things up? And then I'm going to invite Dr. Barr to make a couple of like 3 light bulb connections, Dr. Barr, because we know how this works. We have breakfast and we do this kind of game of the 3 light bulbs. So
Excellent.
Dorly, final comments?
Final comments that this tool is ultra, let me unshare, stop sharing, that this tool is ultra helpful. And one thing I unfortunately forgot was to pull out a video by another client, Spanish speaker, who on video has this, I can send you the clip later, saying, this is so simple, but so useful. I cannot think of anything more helpful to make me aware of my pronunciation, because that serves like a fantastic anchor.
It looks like an anchor too.
Yeah.
Just
Thank
stick
you
a
so
little,
much.
a chain on it and then you're all set. Thank you so much, Dorly. This is fabulous. I think we are all walking away with new ideas. Shirley, I am. Aren't you, Shirley? How do you feel?
Shirley,
Yeah.
I am.
I want
Don't call
that
me
video.
Shirley.
I want the video for the website. The testimonials from the students.
Oh yeah, Gilson.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a good reminder. Thank you, Shirley. Robin, I know many connections in there, but can you share 3 light bulb connections for us from?
Okay, I guess the main thing I want to reinforce is that these are things that your students are doing, or the Brazilian Portuguese speakers are doing unconsciously. So these are things that they're not aware that they're doing. So it's not that they have an incorrect interpretation of what the English word should be. It's just that this is the automatic rule that applies to it in your language. So it's important to realize that just telling them not to do that anymore is not really helpful, right?
Of course not. No.
What I thought Dorly's method of reverse engineering was brilliant, because what it does, it removes the I guess you could say the Broca's area bias from your attempt to speak English. If you think you're exaggerating or imitating somebody else or making funny noises or anything that tells you, this is not really language, this is somebody else's mistakes that they make for my own language. Yes, imitating a bad speaker of your own language, who was originally a speaker of the target language, is a one way of undoing your own automatic processes, because it means that they aren't applying the rules that you do. And so if you can imitate them, that means you're not applying the rules that you ordinarily do. So I think that's a really good way of getting inside the brain of the student. Just another couple of things I wanted to point out that again are related to the native language, that are interferences from the native language, are they can't hear the vowel ah, because that's not one of the vowels in their inventory, right? There's a red pepper that is kind of verging on black cat, and there's an olive sock that's kind of verging on black cat, but there's nothing actually in the center of black cat where it is in English. So again, not just helping them be sensitive to the English sound that's not in their, that doesn't fit in their pigeonholes, but maybe vowel yoga that will help them actually put their mouth into the shape of the ah, where their mouth is all the way open and their tongue is all the way front. I find that really very helpful for a lot of my students who otherwise would never produce that sound, and it winds up being added to their inventory. And so and the third thing that I think was it Linda brought up about adding the extra syllables, and we saw that with Dorly's example of the chikechi, right? You've got the palatalization before the I, and you've got the extra epithetic vowel added, and even that added vowel also creates the ch sound. So those were errors that reflect some of the general processes that I talked about at the beginning.
Wonderful.
Can
Everybody-
I add something?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Just when I'm teaching the color vowel, when I'm presenting, I use the slides that you provided. And then in one of the slides, we have a video when you talk about the stress with banana. And I think that's so interesting, especially for Brazilian students, because we have the same word, but we have the syllable time language. So it's banana, chocolate. So we say every single syllable. And I think they have, like, sometimes, okay, we are teachers, we know stress time versus syllable time, but we don't know how to help them understand that. So I think that example is really good. And also because they listen to English and they say, oh, they're speaking so fast. And sometimes not because they're speaking fast, because they're reducing the syllables. So that's why it seems fast. So then they have the aha moment, like, oh, okay, now I understand why it seems fast, because they're reducing some syllables in the word. So I think that's something that we can, when we're teaching Brazilians, that we can use as an example, the banana and chocolate. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you so much. Other comments as we finish up? First of all, I want to thank, we will take a few more comments, but I do want to thank our three presenters today, Dr. Robin Barr, Gilson, Hosana, and Dorly Piske. Once again, we're just thrilled when we have these special presenters. As Jennifer's mentioned, if you would like to be included in a future session with another language, we do have Aviva here in the room is going to be contributing to our upcoming session a month from now on Arabic. Remember Aviva? Come on, you know this. She's up for that. If we are looking actually for at least one more presenter on Color Vowel and other strategies for helping Arabic learners of English. So if that speaks to you, talk to Jennifer at colorvowel.com. Few more comments from folks in the room.
May I comment?
Hello, Kelly. So glad to see you.
Hi, Karen. No, I'm so glad you invited me to the session. And I've learned so much. When you told me about this session, I started thinking, because now I'm going to go back to teaching Brazilian speakers in the fall. So it's like, okay, I haven't taught just that specific group in a while. So when you told me about this session, I thought about different, like why we pronounce things a certain way. And I remember the classes, most of what I know, I learned from Professor Barr. So I remember my pronunciation classes, but something that I never realized is the nasalization. It was something that never occurred to me. I never noticed that. And now it makes perfect sense because we say também, and the way we nasalize, like the vowel sound, is something that I never thought of like addressing, but now it just clicked and made perfect sense. So thank you.
I think that's credit to Dorly and Dr. Barr. Thank you so much. Any comments from the panelists themselves about what you may have connected to across presentations? Maybe something you learned from Gilson or Dorly learned from someone else.
I just want to interrupt real fast, Karen. Doug has a question.
Oh, there we go. Think about that, panelists. Doug, question.
Yeah, it wasn't really a question. It's more of a comment. I had one student that used to talk about her daddy all the time. And I thought it was being a little childish, but now I think it was probably cultural. And I wish I'd have known this before.
Daddy.
Yeah, if you're saying dad, it'll have to come out daddy, and then you'll change it to dad G, right? Linda also suggested one of those other conspiracies for open syllables, and that's changing the L to a W or an O. So bell would become bell, and so on. Is that what you're talking about, Linda? Yeah. So
that's what I hear when I hear Brazil.
Brazil, right, Brazil. Yeah.
Brasil, sorry, Brasil.
And same with R. So a lot of things have to final R in order to get it out of the way in that to avoid a consonant cluster. Yeah. Really, the only things you can end a syllable with are S, and actually that may be it.
Wonderful. Everybody, we get together a couple times a month like this for Fridays at 5. We usually go about an hour, but today was exceptional. And I want to thank you for staying throughout. We're going to be posting this over to our YouTube channel. Again, we did post that link there. If you are not already in our community, that's, you know, where Color Vowel teachers hang out in Facebook is our private community. Join us over there by investing in Color Vowel. If you own the book, you basically make it into the community. Any final comments? Otherwise, I'm going to say have a safe, peaceful weekend, and let's all be good to each other, and happy, for those in the United States, happy or have a good Memorial Day. Right? Thank you so much, everybody.
And thank you all the Portuguese speakers who helped us give
Thank
fine
you,
illustrations.
everybody. Thank you,
Yeah.
Karen, Robin, and Dorly, and Gilson. It was amazing.
Thank you, Anna. Please come again. We hope to see more of you.
Sure,
Same with
sure.
Jane. Good to see so many new faces. Ina, I've seen you a few times and glad to have you here. Gina, right? Linda, I haven't seen you in months and years, so want to see you again. Tamyres, okay, Skip. You're holding the line on the middle schoolers. I know that's a lot, so I'm glad to see you here, okay? Thank you, everybody. Love you. Aviva, talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Gilson, Dorly.
See you, Kelly. It was great to see you again.
See you. Great to see you too.
Bye.